Lady girls and gentle boys, welcome back to the ThyGap podcast. It's the episode 2 and 2 in the year 2020. My name is Bogus Noog, and with me is
Being Brut.
Welcome Being Brut to the final episode of season 1. Wow, what a surprise!
I know. You surprised me too, along with the audience.
It's the season finale, people. This is the episode 22. It's the season finale of season 1 of the ThyGap podcast. How are you all guys doing? We hope you're all doing good. In a very
Emotional
and
moment of truth.
also eventful year it has been, and it's not
Yeah.
even done yet.
Yeah.
Even our good city of Hyderabad has been unfortunately
Going
touched
through a lot.
by 2020 of
Yeah.
late. Shout out to all those people who are
Affected by the floods.
yeah
Guys,
affected, and they're working to bring things back to normal.
let us reassure you guys that we are all safe. We're doing well.
Yeah, thankfully.
Thankfully, touch wood. And sincerely, we're praying out for all those people who've been impacted by the floods. I think the last big floods in Hyderabad was exactly 20 years back
Yeah,
in 2000,
yeah.
where once again it was a similar problem
Mhm.
where they let out the water from tank bund and that kind of created the ruckus.
But I think going forward, like, we can expect this pretty much every year now with the way.
I don't know. Let's not go into that. Let's
Yeah.
not like unnecessarily.
No, because what I've observed at least is from periods of steady rainfall, we've slowly been moving towards shorter periods of heavier rainfall. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot, Bogus.
Yeah.
Like starting from how your hair is whitening to, your torso circumference.
Mhm.
But like I said, I don't want to go. I don't want to have any negativity in our season finale.
Okay.
Let's not go into what is like, oh, every year this disaster will happen. Oh, all that. Let's not go into it.
Yeah.
What we'll definitely go into
Mm-hmm.
is
Yes.
the Instagram handle
It's @_ ThyGap.
and the Twitter handle.
It is @ThyGap.
And we'll obviously check out Facebook.
If you want to, it's ThyGap. It is.
But most importantly,
Mm-hmm.
the father of all social handles,
Right.
our email ID.
It is mindthygap@gmail.com.
Whoa! That's what people should get into to get
Yeah.
the juice of our season 1.
Yeah, we hope you write to us, especially now that the season 1 is ending.
Now that we're going to shut up for some time.
For 9 weeks to be precise.
To be very precise,
Mhm.
count the days, people.
Yeah.
9 weeks. Can you tell us how we came down to the math?
Very
Basically,
randomly.
Yeah, it's
We just
absolutely random. Like
pulled it out of the air.
as if we had math to everything that we did.
Right.
But 9 weeks, 9 weeks is a good break.
And then we'll be back for season 2.
Season 2, which is going to be even better, even awesomer,
Yep.
and even longer
Yeah.
than season 1.
Well, let's see.
Let's see.
Let's see.
Okay, let's not strike that out. Cut it out.
Let's
Okay.
not promise too much.
Yeah, too much it is. Whoa. Yeah, but Bogus,
Mm.
I mean, thanks for like telling me that this is the finale
Yep.
after we started recording,
Yes, exactly.
which is very nice of you to
Mhm.
keep me in the dark.
Mhm.
And I still don't know our email ID password. I don't know why you don't give us the password.
Mhm.
Give me the password.
Mhm.
But how do you feel? I mean, flew by pretty quick, yeah?
22 weeks, bro. Thinking back to the time when we were discussing about starting a podcast, and to see that we are already here and a lot has happened in these 22 weeks, it's a very mixed feeling that I'm having right now. It's very difficult to, it's not easy to explain.
Hashtag it's not easy.
It's not easy.
For Bogus,
Mhm.
nothing is easy. And mind you guys, like this is very rare. Bogus hardly becomes emotional.
Yeah.
There are few rocks which can be more emotional than Bogus.
Mhm.
But I'm surprised that you're getting a little, leaky nosy
Yeah, I'm
while
just
telling that speech.
I'm just happy and proud of the fact that we did start it as
Yeah.
we discussed,
Yep.
and we stuck to the timelines. We never missed any week.
We
Every
came-
Thursday without fail,
Absolutely.
there was an episode up.
And let me be very honest to everybody. Bogus, with a stone on my heart.
Mhm.
I give a lot of credit to you.
That's redundant. Stone on your heart is like stone on stone.
Yeah, but whatever.
Right.
It's like basically you're my heart,
Okay.
which is so unromantic. But no, I give a lot of credit to you. All
Thank
those long nights that you put in.
Mhm.
I know I could have been of more help than what I was,
No,
but that was intentional.
nonsense.
I don't want to be of any help. To you at least.
Okay.
But 22 weeks, yeah?
22 weeks.
I mean, yeah, we came, we recorded, we bored people,
Yep.
and now we've conquered the first season.
Yeah.
It's where, like, how things change.
Mm.
And the best part, we did it in a time where everything was against us,
Yeah.
which I think is a feather in our cap. We should, like, pat on our backs. Shabba mama shabba.
For sure. For sure.
Right? So many difficulties. You know, every time we had to, like, come together to record this, police people were behind us
Mm.
on the roads.
Mm.
We had to fake our identities as, like, hospital healthcare
Yeah.
workers.
Some trivial nonsense about illegal activities and stuff.
I
Like,
mean,
what-
like, I
these
don't know where that came
technicalities you
from.
want to be like, well, come on.
Like, where did that even come from?
Yeah.
Illegal activities, like, just to go from one place to another.
Right.
Come on.
We've heard quite a bit from some of you. I still maintain that we haven't heard from all of you that have been listening to this podcast
Let's put it the other way around.
regularly.
We've heard some people,
Yeah.
but mostly we heard silence.
Yeah. Mostly we heard silence.
Like, which is great, guys. But, you know, a little encouragement wouldn't hurt. I know we are, like, not too charming, but
Yeah. We're also too humble. We're extremely
we are
humble.
humility.
Yeah, yeah, and it's been gratifying to see some people regularly turn in week over week. We want to thank those people for listening to our episode, and not just from India, from the entire world.
Across.
And some of the feedback that we heard, of course, was on the episode length. That sometimes our episodes may tend to get a little bit.
Just about
Just a
70,
little
80
bit.
minutes.
Yeah,
that's
that's
it.
it.
I mean, what are you doing otherwise also?
Mm.
Right?
Mm.
70, 80 minutes in a week is
Yeah.
like, what, 10 minutes a day?
Right, and there's no one's holding a gun to anyone's
Yeah.
head saying if you start listening to it, you have to finish it.
Yeah. But having
that
said
sitting.
that, my learning is
Yeah.
I just realized that there are so many podcast experts
Mhm.
out there
Right.
who were kind enough to come up to us and say, like, you know what you guys should do
Mm.
now that you're doing a podcast?
Yeah, yeah,
I, for some time, felt like Sachin.
yeah.
You know, everybody was giving advice to Sachin when he had the tennis elbow.
Mm.
It was just like that. Like, all these guys who were
Mhm.
so kind enough to come and tell, dude, you know, but they're too long,
Mm.
you know. I kind of think you should, like, keep it shorter
Wow.
and
What a
all
humble
that.
and modest comparison to make, Brut, which is Sachin Tendulkar in one shot.
Yeah.
Right,
Aim for the sky, Bogus.
Mhm.
Always aim for the sky.
right.
You know why we are not the number one podcast yet? Because you don't aim for it.
Of course, we are the number one podcast in the world in some sense.
Yeah, obvious.
Star mark conditions apply.
Yeah, we are the number one podcast with all the podcasts that are named ThyGap
Exactly. Bingo.
in the universe.
Yeah, so for all of you guys who shared that feedback with us, first of all, thank you for sharing
Yeah.
some feedback with us.
Thank you.
Um, Some episodes do tend to get long, but we do make the effort to cut off all the waste as much as we can. And we just try to see if whatever we have in the episode is relevant to the topic or not. And if it is still relevant and if it's going 90 minutes or 70 minutes, honestly, Brut and I don't care because it is
Yeah.
relevant. We always try to remove irrelevant stuff from the episode. If you don't know, some episodes recordings went up to 4 or 5 hours long actually, and we ended up cutting those down to like an hour or so. So that's always going to be our goal, which is to
No,
keep
but
it
Bogus,
relevant.
you're telling it as if a textbook answer.
It's not a textbook answer. I'm talking to people.
Just stop doing that.
Stop talking to our listeners.
Talk to me.
No, I'm not talking
Speak to me.
I've talked to you enough. 22 episodes. I'm sick of it.
No, Bogus, what I'm trying to say is we try to do the best, first of all.
Of course.
Right? Yeah. Now, what can we do if we have so much to share?
I know, right?
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We are just like that, Rajdhani hotel where they keep serving you even if you're full.
Yeah.
We are that kind of people. We are hospitable podcasters.
Extremely, yeah.
Who want to just share our knowledge.
We want to, yeah.
Now, having said that, sometimes you have too much to share.
Yes, that's true.
And we have only so much of a plate to serve it on.
Exactly.
So what do?
We ask them to come back next day.
Exactly. And we make a part 2 out of it.
Yep.
Right? So that they don't have to sit for like long hours listening to only one episode.
Yeah.
Or, the likes, basically. Spend a lot of time on one thing.
Yeah.
But we try to accommodate as much as we can. Right? And I think the decision to make 2 episodes or 2 parts, I think started off with which episode?
With Measure of Man? No, humor. Start off with humor. Yeah.
For a guy who's in the podcast, you should remember these things. Because these are important stuff. Like humor, there was so much we wanted to cover.
Right.
And even after making 2 episodes, 2-parters, we still have so much to share.
Yeah.
Right? And we still are like, oh, maybe we'll get back to this or, whoa, whatever.
Yeah. There's no final answers to some of the most important topics in life.
Yeah.
They're always open-ended questions. And you keep learning as you keep growing. So it makes sense to come back and revisit them sometimes.
We should also.
Yeah, we should.
Because it's like a book. Have you ever read a book twice?
Yeah.
And the second time you read the book, you're like, I didn't find this in the first time I read it.
Exactly.
Like it's so different.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. Like you go through a topic or...
Happens with movies as well.
Happens with movies also. Like, oh, this is what it is or whatever.
Yeah.
But with movies, it's more like this thing. Like it's too much on your face. It never happened with me.
No, I'm talking about some of the great movies where there's so much packed and so much subtleties packed.
Oh, yeah. You kind of feel, oh, this is where he did it.
Yeah. Next time you come back, you're like, oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, it happens with movies also.
Yeah.
You and your bloody movies. I'm talking so intelligent stuff here about books and all. You are like, whoa, we watch movies. You want to watch the Student of the Year, blah, whoa.
Well, they're all different art forms, like movies cannot come close to books in some respects, but at the same time, books also,
are the best. Shut up. Books are the best.
No,
if
books
not
also cannot offer what the best movies can.
No, but there is only so many best movies, but there are so many best.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's with a book, it's almost with every book. Even with a book that you hate. Which is the book that you hated reading?
Oh, God. There's a book called Confessions of a CEO.
By?
A.G. Krishnamurthy. And this is the guy who started off the Mudra advertising agency.
Oh.
And he wrote this book, and I'm using air quotes. Basically, it was a pamphlet.
Of Mudra advertising agency.
The font size was, 18 or 20. And the gap between each lines, you could drive a car through.
Maybe he was an engineer. He's like, how you fill up answer sheets just so that you look like you gave a lot of answers.
But I remember my father had bought this for me when I was still a student. And I was telling him that advertising interested me. Of course, it interested me for different reasons. But he bought me this book and I was like, cool. It's one of the first indigenous advertising agencies in India, and it has done a lot. So they also have MICA, which is the B school for that field of work. So I was like, I want to read this. And surprisingly, I got through it very quickly because of the aforementioned reasons.
Excessive font size.
But the lack of
conviction
substance in that book, that was the first time, Brut, I realized that nothing can be as disgusting as reading a bad book.
It's like eating a bad curry.
Even more than that,
worse.
I would
because it kind of screws up with your intellect, right?
Yeah, it was
it's like, this is what I'm supposed to get. This is all there is.
And also because in today's day and age, right, reading a book itself is a time investment that you have to make.
Yeah.
It is not the easiest habit for most people.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, with so much attention deficit, this thing going on,
Yeah.
you still take out time and you read a book, and then you.
It disappoints you to your soul.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The level of bile and disgust I had after reading that book, I cannot describe.
The first time I heard somebody say bile for representing disgust.
You can see how much it
Yeah,
had
yeah.
an
It
effect on me.
scarred you.
It scarred me, and
Yeah.
that's when I
How
realized
long was it before you picked up another book after that?
it was a long time.
Right?
Yeah, it was a
that
long
happens to me. That happened to me also.
What is one book that you hated, bro?
So unfortunately, right, I was always kind of suggested good books because I got very
Okay.
good readers around me.
Right.
But then I broke that cycle.
Mhm.
So to experiment in my college,
Mhm.
once I reached my college.
Right.
And and there was a guy, there's a person, and I will not even reveal whether it's a guy or a girl because then they'll judge the
You
shit out
already
of it.
said guy, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, it was actually a girl.
Okay.
Who basically suggested me. She didn't even suggest. She kind of gave it to me. We got to know, like we were first year of college, and we
Right.
were like, oh, what's your hobby?
Getting
kind
to
of
know
a
each
state.
other.
Yeah. And got to know that this person is a good reader,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
And, army background,
Oh, okay.
etc., etc. So
Okay.
you kind of vouch for them,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, good readers.
Yeah.
So there's a certain stereotype I went by.
Yeah.
And she handed over me these two books.
Mm.
One of them was 5 Point Someone.
Oh ho ho ho.
And the other one was the monk who sold the Ferrari.
Oh my God.
And I was never into Indian writers. So
Right.
this was my problem. I won't blame her. But what has happened was...
But she did shatter the stereotype for you.
Yeah, that one, yes,
Yeah.
she did. The next time somebody came to me and like, I'm a voracious reader and because, I've went to all these places, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
Right.
shut up. But I came from a background of, James Hadley Chase, like, your Agatha Christie's. I already was done with those Ayn Rands and etc.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time I came, I think I should have read these books probably back in school.
Yeah.
I kind of like outgrew that kind of this thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The problem the problem with like the monk who sold his Ferrari
Yeah.
was too much of bullshit according to me.
Oh my God.
There was too much of idealistic scenario, and that was because I already read Fountainheads and Atlas Shrugged and all of Ayn Rand, and I kind of knew where that philosophy was kind of coming from.
Had you read any JK books by then, Jiddu Krishnamurti, or did that come later?
No, that JK so JK I started, when did I go to? It's from around my 8th grade is when I was reading JK.
So you were already done.
I was already done with
So
a
no
substantial
wonder.
amount of willpower development, all the books that you get at Ramakrishna Math basically
So
for like $20-$30.
oh my God.
Or not even that. Back then it was like $5, $6, right? So I saw the stark difference of, that's
Yeah.
when I kind of, my exposure to,
No.
Westerners are kind of like,
no wonder.
yeah, I kind of saw like, why does this sell so much?
Yeah.
And by the way, I've risked a little further
Oh, okay.
by reading Alchemist after that.
Oh, I
And
didn't
was
read
like,
that one.
No, good thing, like,
Yeah,
good
yeah.
job. But anyways, that was philosophical or like personality development, and I don't blame her because I kind of came from a different school of thought, from a different set of background, blah, blah, blah. So, I in turn suggested her that, what, all this is kind of like, I think I know where it comes from,
Yeah.
and we shouldn't be too wowed about it.
Yeah.
So the next suggestion was 5 Point Someone, and which was at that point making a lot of rounds.
Oh,
like
yeah.
this Indian author
Yeah.
wrote this awesome book about IIT, blah, blah, blah. Very bad storytelling, man. like I genuinely, nothing against him.
Yeah.
It's just like a very subjective opinion. I would still not stop anybody to go and read it because
Of course. Yeah. It's a free
you
market.
need to taste it,
Yeah.
right? You need to taste to know what your taste is.
Yeah.
So, but for me, again, I came, like I was telling, I was coming from the history of these European authors,
Right.
I was coming from guys like Ayn Rand's, your Anton Chekhov, all those laureates. What do you call them? Laureates. Yes, laureates.
But I don't think that's the right word.
Like Nobel laureates of literature or whatever, right? The big shots of
Right.
English, the Western
Classic
literature.
authors. Yeah.
The classical authors. I still wasn't at Dostoevsky then.
Right.
I think it's just after this is when I kind of migrated to or upped my ante to Tolstoy's and Dostoevsky's and Kafka's and all. But I did do the elementary reading because those were the books which were lying around at my place.
Yeah.
So when you compare the storytelling skill, and I'll tell you, the major influence was Chase. James Hadley Chase. My father is a huge fan. My mother read a lot of his books. Like literally, we had about like he wrote about 73 short story novels. We had about like 30 at home.
Okay.
Right. So I was already done with them. Right. And even today, even after reading so many stories, right? A lot of people say Chekhov is one of the best short story writers. In India, we have Rabindranath Tagore, who's one of the top. But for me, the best storyteller, like in a very concise manner, is Chase.
Okay.
Like you can just pick up any of his book and just make a movie out of it. It's like it's a ready-made screenplay kind of a thing.
Right.
So when I read that, and then I started reading this side, it was day and night. And at that, I still like I get what you say, where you feel scarred, that you almost feel cheated.
Yeah,
like,
cheated is a good word. Yeah.
It's like, this is what people like this is what I'm supposed to like.
Yeah.
But hey, readers, it's just like food. Everybody has their own taste buds. So people like their own thing. Because even with the recent one, the whole the trilogy, the Shiva trilogy, the Party.
Yeah.
Not I mean, like,
yeah, I haven't read
not
those,
at all
but
impressed.
I'm not liking this trend of current trend of writers writing their books like screenplays already, anticipating that Bollywood would pick it up. I'm not sure I like that. And
I don't think 5 Point Someone was like
no,
that.
not he started doing that after that.
I haven't read one of them also. I've read One-Eyed Call Center after that.
Okay.
I was like, why am I even doing this to myself?
This is
But
the
I
Kai
didn't even
Poche
read
book.
Two States.
Yeah, that's the one he started.
No,
with.
One-Eyed Call Center was called Hello, made by Salman Khan or something.
Yeah.
A horrible movie.
Yeah.
But Kai Poche was, I think...
Two States or something
Two
like
States is Two States.
that? Okay.
5 Point Someone is Three Idiots. There was another book he had.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. Anyways, I don't know that. But I read One Night at Call Center and 5 Point Someone. After that, I didn't quite read. And I'll tell you the funny part. I still remember this. What kind of helped me survive through that phase was Kite Runner.
Okay.
Khaled Hussein's Kite Runner.
Right.
The beauty of his writing. Unfortunately, I didn't like his other book, which is 10,000 Splendid Suns. But Kite Runner was... Dude, that was a book that brought me closest to crying in the end. For you... So there's this film... I don't know if you've read it.
I've watched the movie. I've not read the book.
Oh, you should read the book. You should... Like... So basically, the lead is the aspirational character.
Yeah.
And then the protagonist who narrates the story.
Right.
So he goes back to save his son. Because he's done some injustice to the main guy or whatever. His son turns out to be exactly like his father. Right? Who the protagonist, the narrator, betrayed. So he ends it as a way of repaying it back to, his lost friend.
Right.
So this guy always keeps saying "for you 1,000 times over," and he ends the book with that while running behind a kite to bring it to this kid. Or dude, the way he kind of writes that piece of that whole scene, I think that's the closest that I got to crying reading a book. Generally, you kind of are a little indifferent, right? You're watching it as a third person, or you don't really get involved. But Kite Runner is one such book which is like beautifully written, very simple English, packs a lot of emotion. I don't know how he managed to do that.
Yeah, but for me, by the time I got to 5 Point Someone, I had already read Indian bloggers that wrote better blog posts.
Yeah, blogging was coming up really big at that point.
Yeah, at that point of time, there was a lot of Indian bloggers that were really good at what they were doing.
Yeah.
But coming back to the length of our episodes that we were talking about.
This is exactly why.
Yeah.
Like why we kind of have long episodes.
We just wanted you guys to know, we hear your feedback, we accept it. The customer, the listener is always king. So we are definitely going to cut smaller clips from our podcast, and we're going to be putting them up on our YouTube channel, which is, by the way, ThyGap. Please go ahead.
It's not by the way ThyGap.
Yeah.
The name of the YouTube channel is ThyGap.
Yeah. So please go ahead and, well, I think the podcast has a different channel, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. So
I don't know.
you can find us on YouTube. If you search for ThyGap, there should be another channel called ThyGap Podcast as well. That's the channel we'll be uploading the small or the short clips to. You can go ahead and subscribe right away, and you'll get notified whenever we put them up.
Yep. Click
And
the bell icon.
yeah, as they say,
Please click the bell icon.
ghanti bajao, please.
Yeah.
And
What was the most challenging thing while recording this podcast?
for me,
And this is genuinely, I'm asking this so that I know
right.
what was the difficult parts.
For me, while recording, the challenging aspect of it was how do we stick to topic, and how do we ensure that we are covering everything that we want to cover in that particular topic and still keep it relatively within acceptable length. And that was during recording. And after recording, when it came to editing and post-production, it is to kind of improve the sound quality, remove the background noise, etc., which we will be using the vacation time now to kind of improve.
Hone our skills.
Yeah, to hone our skills and to improve our production quality as well.
Yeah.
And also to improve and learn on other things so that we can bring some new things to
Yeah,
this
other
medium.
things like expressing. Bogus is going to enroll himself in a workshop.
Mhm.
So the first season was predominantly about spoken English. So for the next season, Bogus is going to train on his face muscles. So we have consulted few gyms
Uh-huh.
where they can help him relax or kind of activate his face muscles so he can give more expressions.
Yeah, quite some work for me to do, but for Brut, there's not much because we're just going to
Yeah.
tie him to a post,
Yeah.
and we're going to keep this brace around his mouth, which
Yeah.
makes sure that it does not open. And he can just say, to whatever points I'm adding. That'll be a huge improvement, guys. I'm sure you agree. Write to us if you agree.
Nobody agrees to this, Bogus. Stop doing this Stop doing that. What is that? Mudra ad agency's CEO's book.
Oh, God.
Stop writing pamphlets in 18 font size.
Don't insult me back with my own pain. That's not cool. But yeah, it was great that we had guests on our podcast. That's not something Brut and I had planned on.
Yeah.
It's not something we expected.
Once again, shout out to Nostradamus and
Yep.
Khartoum
Yep.
for proactively showing interest in being a part of our conversation. We regret our decision to allow them from the bottom of our heart.
Right.
But nevertheless, you can't erase your past. You do mistakes, you learn, then you move on.
Yeah.
So, considering how, careless and unforgiving we both are,
Mhm.
that is me and Bogus,
Mhm.
I think we're going to have more guests next season.
Oh, yeah. And it's kind of a small regret for me that in these 22 episodes, we could not bring in more guests, because once we started having them, we really liked how they were going, those episodes. So
But
once
you
again,
have to tell the reason why we didn't have more guests.
well, it was not possible. It's just we couldn't.
No,
we had
no.
difficulty working around our schedule itself.
Stop covering up your tracks. People reached out to Bogus saying that, hey, Bogus, we want to be with you on your podcast.
Mm-hmm.
That was Bogus' reply. And people thought he's not comfortable. And they said, okay, it's okay. We are sorry to have asked.
No, these are all lies. These are all lies.
People
Do not
tracked
believe
back.
this man. Anyone who's interested, please reach out to us. We are more than happy to have you as a guest on our podcast. And like I said, we wish we could have had more, but definitely next season we will plan to include that into our season. We already have a few
Yup.
people who have expressed interest.
Yep.
I'd like to thank again from my part Nostradamus and Khartoum for joining us on our podcast episodes.
Yeah.
Now, Brut, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
Of all the 22 episodes that we've done,
Yep.
could you do like a small recap-ish kind of thing, and also share with us what some of your favorite bits were or favorite moments were from the podcast so far?
22 episodes is your 21 technically, but this definitely is not one of my favorite episode because it's a finale. Bad with goodbyes.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. But one of the favorite bits, which is not online, like which is not in the podcast,
Okay.
but was the point when we reached 1,000 downloads. That gave a lot of kick to me.
Oh yeah.
That kind of all the cliche.
Yeah.
We instill the belief that we are going in the right direction and all that. Every time somebody genuinely reached out and said, hey, we've heard your podcast and this is how we felt. And even if it is a complaint, I was really, really happy about it because, that's an indication
feedback,
that they were listening to us and they care about what we want to put out there. There are so many other bits during the episode recordings that we did. I think one thing that I definitely for sure kind of enjoyed the most was every time we disagreed. With all the preparation that we did, but when it came to the D-Day, there is this instinctive disagreement that we would put out.
Yeah.
And that always led to a good conversation. That always led to a provocative conversation, in fact, where we were challenged to give an honest opinion, unlike a scripted one. I think that is the biggest thing that I love about our conversations is we cannot stick to a script.
Yeah, and I agree with that. And also, my favorite bits so far were I liked the humor episodes. I liked the Measure of Man episodes.
Oh, you are asking me to tell episode names?
No, I'm just saying it was a free-form kind of question. I also liked role models a lot. I liked what we did with the marriage episode because we were not really at a strong
that was
position.
Not our forte.
Yeah, going
That's
into
what
that
you wanted
topic.
To say.
But I liked what ended up in the end.
I like the goodness and greatness also. I think.
Oh yeah, Lostradamus.
Yeah, I loved how Lostradamus actually contributed, and he made the episode look good.
Yeah.
When we were hearing it during the editing, it was so difficult for us to actually cut out a chunk.
Yeah.
Because Lostradamus actually added that much of value to what we were talking about, and he was a natural dude. I thought he was a natural at that.
Yeah.
He hardly had any preparation. Just jumped right into it.
Yeah, he was using a shitty mic, but still came out good.
Came out really well.
Yeah, and cause for celebration for us, as Brut mentioned, we recently crossed 1,000 downloads, guys.
Yup.
Claps, cheers, all around.
But that was a kicker moment.
Yeah, and it's not just that, not just the number, but the more gratifying aspect for us was to see how many places in the world we had conquered or penetrated, so to speak. We have covered pretty much all the continents, Brut, so far, except for South America. And I just want to say, South America, ¿qué pasa?
If they are not listening, how will you tell? Tell their neighbors. North America, tell it to your neighbors.
Yeah.
Ask them also to listen to us.
What's going on? Mexico, Argentina, Bolivia, Peru. What are you guys doing? Come on. Brazil.
La 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 la.
Why are you guys staying away from this goodness called the ThyGap podcast? Come on.
Brazil.
So yeah, we have pretty much covered all the continents and 19 countries so far, bro.
Yep.
19.
That's a big number.
It's a big number.
For two guys
from Hyderabad.
Absolutely unknown.
Who are completely unknown and had no expectations coming into this.
Yeah.
The number of cities, of course, we don't have a count. Too many. Yeah.
You know what was one of my favorite bits? One of my favorite bits was that the railway station introduction.
Yes.
I think I love that bit. I mean, again, huge credit to you the way you edited it.
Mm-hmm. Huge credit to me, yes.
Yeah, huge. Oh my God. That whole 3 minutes that you spent on editing. But I think that is one of my favorite bits. The way it came out.
Yeah.
And what it was exactly like how we kind of thought about it.
Yeah.
I think that was a fantastic bit.
I liked all the intros that we did in the early chunk of our season.
When we had time.
When we had the time for it. Yeah. Unfortunately, it got busier later.
Yeah.
But
the usual cook breakfast, wash vessels, COVID.
Yeah, but those intros were fun.
Yeah, those intros were really fun. Like even the part where we were thinking about it, like conceptualizing it.
Yeah.
That was, I think that again is something that I really enjoyed doing.
And sometime next season, we hope to do an episode long of all that intro
All
style.
intros, just intros. All we're going to do is ThyGap, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, and if you still don't subscribe after that,
Yeah.
then, whose fault is it?
And the quite a lot of I really liked the recent ones also. I think Writing on the Wall was one of the things I thought like I would not be able to pull off, to be honest, because there's hardly anything to it, right?
Right.
In a sense.
Yeah.
But I thought I really liked that episode.
Yeah,
I
liked
really
it
love
too.
listening to that episode. It's so smooth. We could pack so much with it.
Yeah.
And Measure of Man again is also one of my favorites. Humor is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know if you like it or not, but the one about Cyrus and
Oh
Vinay
yeah,
and
Great Expectations.
was a very good episode. Role models. Oh, dude, I mean, like, see, I like almost all the episodes. Like, because obviously it's like, every crow likes its own kids types.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I really like, my favorite episode, if you ask me, is the one that people like the most.
Which is?
I think there's a tie between the goodness and greatness and motivation.
Oh, okay. Curb Your Motivation.
Motivation.
That was a good one.
That was a very good one because it kind of even made me think that, like, how much can you be motivated? Like,
yeah, that was an insight for me while we were recording the episode. For me also, I had the same thing. Oh, yeah. You're not supposed to stick around in this.
It's like,
and no one is saying
shouldn't
that.
be motivated.
And hardly anyone is calling that out.
You should like call it out.
Everyone is busy trying to monetize motivation itself.
So was inspiration. Even inspiration was very tricky because, to be honest, I was never. I mean, it's so difficult for me to like go back and think like how many times was I inspired to do something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Inspiration comes, but like, did I act on it?
Yeah.
So yeah, they are all. The thing that I think which we were successful in doing, also taking in the feedbacks that we got, was the fact that we executed what we wanted to do, which was to provoke a certain kind of like, thinking. Like,
and also to talk about things that usually we ourselves never found people openly talking about or going deep into these things.
Right.
They're always kind of left a little bit vague and formless.
Yeah. Oh, Wealth is another good episode.
Oh, yeah.
Wealth was a fantastic episode.
Which is the Human Trials number 5.
Human Trials 5, yeah.
And Human Trials number 7 was probably the most fun I've had.
Yeah,
while recording the
Let us give you a little background for Human Trials 7. Basically, before we started recording that episode, right, it was very late in the night. We both had a long day at work.
Yeah.
And it was almost like we were dispersing that night.
Yeah.
We almost were like at the car, like we were going our ways.
Yeah, let's not do it today.
Yeah, it was like we are wrapping up the day almost. And for some reason we decided like, okay, let's see what comes out of like a recording of tiredness.
Yeah.
And it actually like it
went
was
the
on
other
the
way
tee. Yeah, it was so much on the tee. It was something that kind of surprised both of us that it came out. The best joke was Manmohan Singh's joke.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what would be Manmohan Singh called at home? Like he'll be called Manu.
But also I enjoyed how well we played with music in that episode.
Yeah.
I felt that it came off really well. And at least not something that I get to hear in podcasts that I listen to usually.
Yeah.
But Brut, if you look at it from an end user perspective, like people who are listening to the podcast, where or who do you think can get the most value, or who is it more apt for rather than others?
You want me to like break it down like a proper business analyst? Like, oh, this is the demographic, so we're targeting.
No.
Or like just like my take.
Your take.
Okay, my take basically is, I think anybody who's feeling too lonely. Like, if somebody is feeling too lonely, because it happens to me sometimes, when you're going to work or when you're at work sometimes, life, like a normal routine day becomes a very lonely place.
Yeah.
Right. So all I intend from my side, I'm not going to speak on your behalf, but all that I want to do through the podcast is give a little company to someone who's feeling lonely, and not just give a company, but also kind of make him think on on things that he would otherwise not really, who he or she wouldn't bother thinking about.
Right.
Because you're so tied up, like you're so tied up on a day-to-day basis about so many things, your work, your personal life. Then you have this COVID, and then you have like the government to worry about.
Yeah.
Then there is floods in Hyderabad now. This climatic change. There's already so much to think about.
Yeah.
That it is only natural that you overlook out on certain things which are probably more important to you than the external factors.
Yeah.
So the intention when we thought of the podcast also was, all we wanted to do was instigate. We are no two big successful people or like philosophers.
Right.
But we are just two really deeply thinking guys. And can we make other people do that? Right? Because we are looking out for answers as much as they are.
Yeah.
So just to create that communication, just to create that channel of conversation where we are having a chat about what we think about and what we hold dearly to us, and put it out there and see how people, what take do people have about it.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
Stop doing this in the finale also.
I thought
like
you were
every
done.
single time. Don't think, Bogus, all through 21 episodes, I've always been telling you, don't think. Okay?
Right.
When I'm thinking, you don't think.
Right. And it is you who actually interrupts me way more than I interrupt.
That is because you deserve to be interrupted.
Yeah,
the people are asking for it.
Right.
Everybody, you know what people do when they're listening to our podcast? Brute, please interrupt Bogus. He's going on and on.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I hear you guys. Like, let me, okay.
Telepathically.
Okay.
This is all happening telepathically.
Okay. Yeah. And futuristically.
Yeah.
Because we are pre-recording our episodes. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were saying, now that you've interrupted.
Yeah, it's a good point about loneliness that you brought up, because I feel like it is the natural condition of our lives, and it's not something anyone can escape.
Yeah.
And it has to, that's why, be accepted. And we probably will do an episode on this next season.
Yeah, so
because
season 2, one of the episodes is going to be loneliness, guys.
Yeah, because there's a distinction to be made between being alone and being lonely. Ultimately, we should be reaching a point where we are comfortable being alone and we are never lonely. And I think there's a subtlety there that goes unspoken of again. And that's a good reason why ThyGap podcast should probably touch on that.
Yeah, and this is for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And this is how I go about suggesting it to people also. I'm not just sharing it to everybody and anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I know a bunch of my friends who who don't mind that virtual company from someone.
Right.
So I suggest it to them and I say like, hey, you know what? I know you're free. If it's okay,
right,
listen to the episode. Yeah, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, and in my own case, when I was in my early 20s or just done with my education,
yeah,
I wish I had mentors around. I wish I had people telling me some of these things that could have saved me a lot of time and effort and pain. And I really hope that if there's someone in that age group who's just starting off after their education, they're about to get into the work field, the workforce, so to speak, these things, they are crucial or they're critical to know. And even if you don't agree with them, like Brut said, we just want to instigate, we want to be a catalyst.
Yeah.
Even if you disagree with them, at least you know where you stand.
Yeah.
So you know more about yourself as a result.
Bogus made it sound like a huge personality development class, but that's not what it is.
No, it's not what it is. It's just understanding of life.
Spilling the beans.
Yeah.
Laying it out on the table.
Yeah, you don't have to sell your Ferrari.
Yeah.
For
all I care, keep the Ferrari.
Keep it, yeah.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying, Bogus. Like, I get your point. I know. It's more like a directional thing, right?
Yeah.
It's not like an implementational thing.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying when you said that, for a guy who's like 20 years old.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of my friends and very good friends of mine who lacked that, who didn't have that directional, force or guidance.
Yeah, but at the same time, you see a lot of potential, right? A lot of potential.
It's like talent untapped.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
and these guys were... okay, this is... I don't know if it's a mythbuster or something.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people who are coined to be introverts,
right,
are the guys who are like ridiculously, intelligent or like ridiculously talented. I mean, I know I'm generalizing this, but I'm speaking out of my experience, right? All the people who are extroverts and all, who basically are kind of distorted, including myself. Like, you're into too many things, you're trying to do too many things, and the only thing that you look smarter is because you're able to kind of perform multitasking. Right. That's all. And you seem to be comfortable from the outset.
But I feel extroverts are also more social, and there's a huge value to that.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, it has. I'm not saying one is better than the other.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that my observation is a lot of people who are introverts, right, are actually guys who give a lot of time to think about themselves, like invest time in themselves, because they're not really comfortable socializing, or they don't really appreciate a lot of chitter chatter around them.
Don't get distracted.
Yeah, they don't have too many distractions. They have a very simple routine. And when you get close to these guys and talk to them, right, you know that these guys have thought through a lot of things that you haven't thought about. Yeah. Right? And you feel bad that just because of that, they don't have a directional sense of where they have to go. Right. And all you try, you only wish that, hey, dude, all you need is just channelize this somewhere. Yeah. Right? That's all you were supposed to be told at some point. And you don't see that being told to them.
Yeah, and I think the ultimate end goal is for introverts to flex a little bit towards extroversion, and for extroverts to flex a little bit towards
you're talking about ideal scenario.
That should be the aim, at least, I feel.
This is
and they should be told that.
Yeah, this is... My father told me this in a different way. What he told me, and which made a lot of sense much later on, is for a guy who's intelligent, who's naturally kind of intelligent. Right. It's very important that he's underconfident. Yes. And he said for a guy who's not that intelligent, it's very important that he should be overconfident. Right. And the logic to it, I will leave it out to that, out to people how they figure out the logic. But I realized what he meant by that much later when I started working. When I started seeing that, this is what helps somebody to perform. Yeah. And this is what helps somebody to perform well and still be grounded, like not be carried away. Yeah. Yeah. So I get what you're saying, like in the similar context. Yes. Yeah. Like an extrovert should kind of tilt towards, okay, well, you know what? At some point, I don't want to spend too much time with people. I don't need people all the time. Yeah. And for an introvert, he should dedicate some time to you know what? I do want to go amongst people and see what they think about it. Yeah. So you should always have both sides of the... You should always see both sides of the coin.
Try to reach that balance. Yeah. Basically. So what do you think our dear listeners, Brut, can expect or look forward to in season 2 of the ThyGap podcast?
First and foremost, I'm very happy you asked that question.
Of course.
Because since the beginning of this recording, this was the question I was waiting for as to what is in the next season 2. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. What can anybody expect out of this is very clear. More silence from Bogus.
Okay.
Season 2 also, Bogus will be very silent. Brut has to do all the talking, especially when it comes to sensible things.
If that is not what you want, guys, please write to us and let us know right away.
Yeah, whatever it is that you want or don't want. You don't want season 2 also means right.
Yes.
First thing is right.
Yes.
Okay.
It'll save us a lot of time.
Yeah. Then we will know whether it should be 9 weeks or 90 weeks.
Exactly.
How long we should plan our vacation.
Yes.
Next thing about next season, that is the climatic change, is because similar to nature, the the mother nature,
Yes.
Sita's mother.
Mata nature, yes.
Yeah, we also will have a different feel about the next season. In the next season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and like I said, better production quality. And
When did you, like you said that?
I said that before when you were talking about, like we talked about this earlier, but better production quality, and hopefully I personally want to do what we did in Human Trials number 7, which is, can we work with music? There is, of course, a little bit of challenge with copyright when it comes to that.
Yeah,
but
why not ask them only? Anybody who are musicians, who are listeners to us,
Yes.
give music.
Yeah. If you want your music to be showcased in the ThyGap podcast, and if you want to open the doors for collaboration,
Yeah, why not, sir?
why not?
Why not? Why don't you, the relationship between a podcast listener and a podcast speaker should be like that of neighbors. I give you card means you give me
Sugar.
the sugar.
Yes.
Yeah. So similar, you give us music, then you can hear it on our own episode.
Yeah, you give
We'll give you
some-
that also. That what do you
get
call
some.
in Kirana store, they give you, no, after buying atta, that jam.
If they don't have change, they give you one toffee.
No, what's that? I don't have money only means what will they give?
If you don't have money,
Yeah, I'll say, hey, I'll take all this, I'll pay later means what will that give? They give us, no, they're written in big words. Oh, not available.
oh yeah.
What is that one?
Out of stock.
No, you idiot. This card people call, sir, do you want this
What
card?
the hell are you talking about?
Oh, if the people will give us music means, we'll give them that one, no? That you swipe in shopping malls, every place. And later
Credit
on,
card.
credit, yeah.
Credit.
We'll give credit to you
Bah.
for giving music. Oh, imagine. You can put it on your resume.
Yeah, exposure. Get a lot of exposure with a podcast that hardly anyone ever listens to, which is a joke. 19 countries, remember, 19 countries.
Uncountable cities.
Uncountable.
Dogs are also barking.
In agreement.
Yeah, but no, I what I want to do is, one, for sure, continue the entertainment
Yep.
to our listeners.
Yep.
I would definitely want to flex my vocal muscles, probably learn a little more voices, probably, give them a lot more flavor of what all characters we can build. Probably, yeah, one other thing I don't mind doing is, do a segment of character play.
Oh,
Role
yeah.
play.
Oh,
What do you
yeah.
call that?
I
Role
would
play.
love to do radio skits.
Yeah, we
Would be
probably
amazing.
will want to do radio skits, guys. And once again, if you have ideas, see, we want to make it a very collaborative season 2.
Yep.
So anybody who wants to collaborate on this, please
Feel free.
feel super free.
Reach out to us.
Yeah.
And coming down actually to our parcels. I'm also very happy personally with the parcels that we have shared so far in the 22 episodes that have gone by. 21. There's also going to be a parcel for this episode, which is also great.
No, we are not having parcel for this.
Yes, we are.
Because of floods, the parcel section is closed. It's only come and eat.
No, today it did not rain. No, it did not rain.
It rained yesterday. Day before
yesterday
yesterday.
it rained, yeah, but not today. So please do check out those parcels, guys, and get back to us what you thought, whether you liked it, whether you did not like it, and why.
And most importantly, because you're missing on this, be very vocal about how boring Bogus's parcel sections were. If you feel that he should cut down because of his own parcel section, the episode used to always extend by about 25-30 minutes. So if you want to have a more concise parcel section, please let us know. We want a lot of this information, guys. I want to prove to Bogus that he speaks a lot of nonsense in parcel. He's not been listening to me.
Basically, all feedback is welcome. And also, if you do enjoy my parcel descriptions,
No, your parcel
Please feel free.
descriptions are boring. Your parcels are good. I mean, let's be honest. Let's get into what do you call lock horn?
okay,
Okay, horn lock. What is it called?
whatever, I got your meaning.
Yeah, I'm saying your parcels are brilliant. 8 out of 10 parcels that you suggested, I haven't watched them. I forget about watching them. I don't even know them.
Right.
So that's great recommendation. Yeah, I'm being honest. I'm being nice to you.
That's one of the goals. And the other goal is, because you wouldn't have heard of them can I give you enough reasons to pique your interest and check it out?
By
That's
giving
the
us a
only-
history lesson?
That's the only intention behind that.
Tell me this, Bogus, and be very honest with me.
Sure.
Is this how you impress women? Like, you give them a history lesson about...
No.
Like, what is your way of impressing a girl?
You go the opposite way. You don't, with girls, you hint history lessons and all that doesn't work, right? You've got to keep it crisp.
So if you have to like be romantic with a girl,
yeah.
right?
That's a totally different thing. I'm not trying to be
So you
romantic
take
with our
her
listeners,
to a
right?
movie, to a Japanese movie made in 1932, and then all through the movie you basically give the the backdrop of how the movie was made,
No.
what the director was eating,
No.
what the hero wore before he came into
I mean,
the shot.
if she is a movie buff, then yes, I would do that. But if I did not know that about her, I would not. Obviously.
Most important takeaway, ladies and gentlemen, if you have ladies, don't be very liberal with Bogus. Okay? Bogus will bore you, your father, your grandfather, your neighbor, their aunts and uncles, in everybody in one go.
I mean, like I said, with everything Brut says, you don't have to just take it up with the, not with just even a pinch of salt.
Don't fumble.
Take the whole
Be brave.
bottle. Take the whole salt factory, basically, and find out for yourself, Just find out for yourself. Don't go by what he says.
No, but genuinely speaking, I always appreciated your parcel.
See?
Not like
There
your
you go. That's the
description.
truth. That's it. No, that's
Not
it.
your description.
That's all that matters.
I always
I'm
maintain
going to
this.
edit out all this part.
No, you can't. I will also have a copy. Please give me one copy, okay? Don't do this. Don't run away after the recording.
I'm changing all the passwords.
But what did you like about the parcel section? What excited you about the parcel section?
It would have excited me more if we heard back from people and saying, oh, I like this movie, or I hated this recommendation, and the reasons why they either liked it or hated it. Unfortunately, we haven't really heard any feedback about our parcels in specific, except for the fact that those were liked. In general, the parcels were liked, but not really in-depth feedback on, I watched this movie and I agree with you about this or I disagree with you about that.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to that, and hopefully now we'll have people who check these out and get back to us. But apart from that, the only thing I liked was that we were throwing out a lot of value to folks who probably are getting distracted by things that are being made today. And
that's what that was about. I was about to say that.
Yeah, very superficial right nowadays. What they're making is
I mean,
not
the
great.
whole exercise of researching for the parcel made me realize how beautiful movies were made back then.
Oh yeah,
How meaningful they were, how artistic they were.
yeah,
and all the details. It's
Yeah.
not just about having a story plot and then having a very good looking actress and a hero.
but
Not just that.
meaningful characters,
Meaningful characters. I
Yeah.
mean,
believable.
and the taking, most importantly. They all made me realize once again that you don't need an extravagant set to like take a good movie.
Yeah,
It can be done in a very realistic, and the whole concept of realism in movies, right?
yeah,
Especially the movies like They Call Me Trinity, 3:10 to Yuma,
right.
the Western movies that what are they called, spaghetti movies or something.
Spaghetti westerns.
Spaghetti
yeah.
westerns.
Yeah,
The kind of taking they had, and also it gave me a chance to actually take some time aside to watch these movies all again.
yeah,
Dances with the Wolves,
yeah,
right? You have Oscar, I have like Bowfinger, which are such entertaining movies.
yeah. Blade Runner.
Blade Runner.
The biggest difference I see is nowadays movies, they don't even give you a moment to breathe between edits. It's all very slick and it's all chuck, 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 chuck. But back then they allowed a scene to breathe. You could take in all the details.
They gave you that pause to like,
Yeah.
like kind of analyze it yourself kind of
Yeah.
thing.
And we really hope some of our parcels were new to you and that you do check them out and you get back to us.
Yeah,
on
even
how-
if you
what
knew
thought.
it, watch it once again.
Yeah.
It's important.
And that brings us finally to the final parcel of season 1. Brut,
Bogus.
why don't you go first, as always?
The finale of season 1, and obviously we are not going to change our traditions.
Mm-hmm.
I will be going first. My parcel for this season's last episode is a very, very interesting Tamil movie, which was later dubbed into Telugu also.
Mm-hmm.
And it was acted by none other than the greatest Kamal Hassan. Kamal Hassan was the actor.
Oh, yeah, the actor.
The actor coming from South.
Mm-hmm.
And the name of the movie is Michael Madana Kamaraju.
Wow.
It is a story of a quadruplets. Is that how you say it? Quadruplets? Quadruplets.
Mm.
So it's a story of a quadruplets being separated at birth by, a particular person.
Right.
But one of them goes back to the biological father.
Mm-hmm.
And this person is like a multi-millionaire,
right?
And his wealth is being eyed by his younger brother and his son. So the movie starts off with a successful murder of this person, the millionaire, and that's when his son, who's the adopted son, comes back and takes reins of the business. Over this period of the movie, what happens is all the 4 different. So it's a quadruplets, right? So Kamal Hassan plays all 4 characters,
of course,
and every character is being adopted by someone or the other of different culture, different caste, different creed, and they all grow up to be different people. But as the movie goes on, one after the other, everybody gets in touch with each other, and all the 4 brothers get together and triumph over the evil. But the beauty of the movie is the movie just doesn't revolve around the quadruplets, right? There are so many characters who add to the plot. Obviously, when there are 4 heroes, you need 4 heroines. Right? Now, when there are 4 heroines, then their family comes into picture.
Yeah.
Then, etc., etc., etc. So, it's a very, very hilarious movie. It's very amazing. Let me speak like a very normally educated guy. It's very, very much interesting movie.
Oh, okay.
It's very much enjoyable. And it's a very light movie. So you can watch it like on a lazy afternoon, on a weekend, and enjoy it. If you don't understand Tamil, don't worry. The movie is also there in Telugu.
Yeah.
If you don't understand Telugu also, don't worry. YouTube will give you subtitles.
Yep.
And you can find this movie on YouTube. You can search for Michael Madana Kamaraju. It's a wonderful movie, super hilarious, good songs, by the way. The music director of the movie is none other than Ilayaraja.
The one and only.
The one and only. So you can expect some quality music and some extremely hilarious scenarios. So please watch Michael Madana Kamaraju. Raju.
It takes me quite a while back because we were kids when this movie came out, right?
Small kids.
And it was such a blockbuster.
Yeah.
And do you think this was the first time or the first instance of Kamal Hassan playing multiple roles, or is this where the itch started for him, or was it there before as well?
I'm not.
Because I don't remember an older movie that Kamal Hassan did where he played more than one role.
He did like the movie where there's one short guy, Appuraja.
Yeah,
Appuraja. I don't know if it came before or after.
I think it came
before.
I think so, before.
Maybe. But I think he has done a bunch of movies where he played like a double role. But quadruplets, I've not seen this concept in itself.
Right.
Where there are 4 of the same character.
Right. And
in a movie.
From 2 to 4 to now he's gone to 10, 15,
10, 15,
20.
There might be, some off screen also he is only there. Like behind the camera, lights, sound, everything.
Everything.
Yeah. But come on, he can take that chance. I think he's at that stage of career where he can do whatever he wants to do. He's proven himself enough.
Yeah, that is true. So great. Call back to the classics. One of the classics by Brut.
Yes.
And
Bogus.
My Parcel for the season finale as well is a cult classic movie made in 1988 by John Carpenter. It's a movie called They Live. And the movie stars Roddy Piper, who was a wrestler in the WWF. And it was not very successful when it came out. It was at the number one spot for a while, but its real popularity really caught up after long after the movie released. It slowly became a cult hit because the movie was a commentary on anti-authority, commercial culture, subliminal messages in advertising. So let me just give you a picture of the plot. So the lead, Roddy Piper, is an unnamed individual who comes to Los Angeles at the beginning of the movie to look for work. And very soon he finds work in a construction company. And so while he's working there, he happens to come across a pair of sunglasses. And he thinks, he doesn't suspect anything of them, but these sunglasses are quite different because when he puts them on and he looks at the usual hoardings that you find in cities advertising different products, he gets to see through the bullshit and he sees the subliminal messaging immediately. So before putting on the glasses, a hoarding might say, enjoy this vacation or buy diamonds for your fiance or something like that. But when he puts the glasses on, all he sees on the board is obey, consume, reproduce. And the same thing goes on in supermarket stores. So the glasses help him not only to see through subliminal messaging and advertising, but he also sees through people, because not everyone is as they seem. Some people are actually aliens in this movie. And he gets to realize that the society in that movie, the elite of that society, are actually not even human, but they are aliens wearing human skin. And they're trying to control the environment and increase global warming so that they can get the climatic conditions suitable for them to take over finally. And the story is this hero's struggle in going against these aliens, because it's not just the aliens, they also have regular people working for them, either through bribery or blackmail or corruption. And they find out that it is through the television signals that they're actually sending out these frequencies and brainwashing subliminal messaging to the people. It's a great commentary on, well, you can say the present culture as well. And it is a great satirical movie.
Is it a comedy movie? No.
It is. It does have funny moments in it. One of the most classic lines that Roddy Piper ad-libbed, it was not even in the script, is, I've come here to chew gum and kick ass, and I've just run out of bubble gum. And then he proceeds to shoot with a shotgun. It's an amazing movie. It has great moments, guys. They Live, 1988, John Carpenter. Be sure to check it out.
Wow. The lengths that you can go talking boring stuff without taking a break for breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. This is quite the opposite of boring.
They live, and you just kill half of our listeners with that speech. Not allowing them to live. Bogus.
Mm-hmm.
Next season we'll change that.
Let's see what our listeners think truly about all this stuff that you've been yapping about. I'm sure they don't agree, but let's see. I'm going to wait. I'm going to check our inbox to see if anyone's
You
writing
shall
it.
see.
Mm-hmm.
You shall see everything.
So, Brut, for one last time.
Yes.
Of season 1 of the ThyGap podcast, what do we say?
ThyGap podcast. Subscribe
and share.
And share.
Mm-mm.
Yay.
Hey, thanks for listening. You can follow this podcast on Spotify to get notified of new episodes every Thursday. We're also on Apple Podcasts for those of you who have partaken in the forbidden fruit. If you liked what you heard, leave us a 5-star rating and a comment. Say anything like the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. A rating and a comment really helps us out. It's free, and I'm told that's a great price. But enough about us, huh? Tell us about yourself. Leave us a comment. Our Twitter is @ThyGap and we are _ThyGap on Instagram.